Okay.
All right, we are day 12 of Fe-Brew-Ary. Yes, Dave is returning. Last time we had Dale, now we have Dave. And I actually have my own bottle opener from New Belgium.
Ooh.
It's a fancy one. You get a nice one like Dave, but hopefully...
I should return Dave to you.
Well, no, I think that it's... You keep Dave, and then in hopes of us being reunited one day and doing a beer video together.
I like that. That's very like Star Wars lore.
Yeah. So
and he
I'm
kept
excited.
the bottle opener until the day that they fought side by side once again, defeating six-pack after six-pack.
So speaking of lore, I was doing the research into this beer today, and I was so floored by the story on the website, I had to copy the whole thing, and I would like to read it off. So, today's beer, we have Fordham and Dominion Brewing Company. This is Candi, which is their Belgian Tripel. But just a background on the brewery. So, in 1995, the roof of Ram's Head Tavern in Annapolis, Maryland was removed and a brew house lowered in, handcrafting fine ales and lagers underneath the name of Fordham Brewing, named in honor of Benjamin Fordham, who was given a charter in 1703 by Queen Anne to establish a brewery in the heart of the bustling port city. It didn't take long for the new brewery to rekindle the city's old tradition into a passionate following among locals for its artisanal beers. So that's where the Fordham comes from. As Fordham's reputation spread throughout the Chesapeake region, the brewery made the decision to relocate to Dover, Delaware in 2003, where we had room to expand. So now, in 1989, stands out as the landmark year for when Old Dominion Brewing Company established a brew pub operation in Ashburn, Virginia. The small brew pub quickly became a production brewery that was named one of the top 50 breweries in the U.S. The brewery cultivated a community in which many discovered the joy and wonder of craft beer, inspiring many of the company's breweries to start successful breweries of their own. We soon found ourselves working around the clock to provide our potent potables and gourmet soda up and down the East Coast. So they also have soda at this brewery, like non-alcoholic drinks, which I guess...
I've heard of those.
Yeah. Based on our shared values and common philosophy of quality brewing, Fordham and Dominion joined forces in 2007 and consolidated operations in 2009. First state being Delaware, is now home to Fordham and Dominion Brewing Company, where beer lovers from near and far are able to stop by, get to know us, and enjoy our handcrafted beer and soda. Our roots run deep throughout the Mid-Atlantic region, and we remain dedicated to our craft. So, I am very excited. It's not like these, because sometimes we'll find a brewery and it's like, started 2 years ago, which is great. I don't want to disqualify anybody, but I think when you've been at a craft for my entire life, 1989 was the year I was born, I think you work out a few kinks. So I'm excited for Candi. I want Candi.
I do. I love that. So is there an explanation to the... Because you've got this pin-up girl on the cover, and then you got what looks like an old-fashioned battleship. They don't make anymore, like the Iowa type thing.
I could not find that. Yeah.
But interesting. So I mean, you know me, I love my Belgian beers. I love my triples. That was an awesome story.
Yeah.
And you're right, when you think about it, with the 10,000 hours type thing, it's like, I'm a writer and I've been a writer since 9. You've spent your life doing martial arts. You've had a lifelong interest in architecture. It's kind of these things, you know, you get to a stage where, you know, the knowledge that you have is really goes quite deep.
Right. And I think it is kind of the expression I've forgotten more than you'll ever know. I think when somebody reaches that point, it is that is truly like a guru, and I hope that their experience translates into a great beer.
Well, it has a beautiful color.
Absolutely.
And it's hazy, it's very slightly hazy, like a sunset. I would say this is a summer evening sunset.
It has a very interesting smell.
Mm. You can definitely get the like sweetness and the maltiness of the Belgian.
I was gonna say there's kind of like an after scent that like hits you that you're like, oh, I wonder what that is.
I mean, that's good. It's good. It's very much in that triple style. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, is it as fresh as it could be?
I'm gonna say no, and I'm glad that you said that. I was like, no. Let's see. Can we find the date?
I noticed there were like one or two things floating in it, which is always like you get those when a beer is entering the end of its shelf life, and this is fine, but I have a feeling if it was younger, it would be great.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we just poured this. It should have more of a head. And I think it should be just a little bit more powerful. So I think maybe it's a little bit past its prime, but it's still good.
I agree. It's got a nice little like kick at the end, and there's definitely like a strength to it that I can appreciate.
Yeah, there's something very like syrupy about triples in general, but this is nice. It's like it's got a smooth thing, and then it like twists at the end on your palate, and it's kind of.
Yep. Yeah, it's got syrupy is a great way to describe it because there's a richness to it that really kind of just you want to roll it in your mouth and just like absorb the experience of it. And it's very strong. It's thick in that texture, but not like thick where you're like you're chewing it. It's very enjoyable, I think.
I was thinking about the reason I've always liked Belgian triples so much, and I think it's because I've never had one that hasn't been attached to an experience. So the first time I ever had a Belgian triple, my sister's quite a lot older than me, so we weren't necessarily that close, but she invited me to London, and we went to this restaurant called Belgo's, which was a Belgian restaurant that served nothing but mussels, vodka, and Belgian beer. And I'm allergic to mussels. Didn't realise this. That was the first night I liked it. Took me like 7 times eating mussels where I realised that every time I ate mussels I threw up. But I used to love mussels. But it was such a great experience. I've always enjoyed that. And then when I was bumming around in Europe for 4 years, it's like whenever Lef was like the Belgian beer that was available. And whenever I had that, it was like, you know, Heineken was what you would drink when you wanted to drink, but Lef was what you wanted to drink when you were in some kind of interesting situation. So to me, it always is attached to like memories of interesting times.
Fascinating. I was gonna say, like, I don't have memories attached to beer outside of like college, and I guess like the first times I had IPAs, was like when I was first discovering beer in my like early 20s when I first moved out. I was living in Princeton, but that's a nice story. I don't have any nice stories like that, but thank you for sharing that with me.
But it's nice, and I really. So I like this. I have to admit, I don't think we got the freshest one, but I mean, this is another one we could go and visit.
It is because they're on the East Coast. I mean, they're in Delaware. They're not too far.
I mean, Delaware is like nowhere away.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say we can make like a brewery trip once this whole COVID thing clears up. You can go to Dogfish Head, which has a hotel in Delaware, and then we can go visit these guys.
I'm down for that. Also, I got a friend who has a YouTube channel who does all the Bond stuff, and he likes a bit of beer, and he's got a Bond-themed pub at his house. So this is a good idea. Okay, Fordham and Dominion, be warned, we're onto you.
We are coming to conquer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most people don't come to Delaware to conquer.
No.
In fact, I don't know if anyone actually like comes to Delaware. They normally just pass through. But
it's funny because I have this goal to visit all 50 states, and one day, like 4 or 5 years ago, I was like, I'm going to Delaware. For no other reason, just then to like, I went to Delaware. So I went to University of Delaware. I had a friend who graduated from there. And then I found she gave me the address of her old dorm, and I went to a picture of the outside. And I walked around the campus a little bit. Then I went to the beach, where I'm pretty sure I walked through somebody's backyard. And then I went to Rehoboth Beach, and I was like, yeah, you know what? This is Delaware. I sat and I read for a little bit, and I'm like, I'm good. Although our president-elect, by the time this views, he will be the president, is from Delaware.
Well, we hope he'll still be the president. I mean, maybe the other president has been calling people up in Georgia and being like, we need to find a bunch of different, I don't know, this is a big scandal. It's breaking, like, literally.
I was going to say, like, oh, man, that's, like, the one deficit of going so far ahead is that, like, when we, like, we're at Broke today, and then by the time this airs, people will either be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because they forgot about it. Or they're going to be like, oh, my God, that was the day.
This is that my father has been calling me up and he's like, oh yes, Donald Trump deserves to be in prison. And I'm like, he'll never go to prison. And today I was like, oh, okay, I think he might be going to prison.
He might act.
Yes. So, there we go. We will see. Won't this be interesting to watch?
It really will be. I mean, it's, we're definitely ahead of the game. We're like a full month and a half ahead for filming, which I'm excited about. And tomorrow is Friday the 13th? Is that it?
And this is perfect because I'm going to deliver to you my own home-brewed stuff.
Awesome.
Yes. And I'm actually quite impressed by it. A company called Brew-Ary will go all the way into it, and then I'll also deliver some other beers. And the next thing is my lot. Friday the 13th sounds the perfect time to give my experimental liquor to you.
Awesome. It also, I mean, I don't know how sure I am of it being Friday the 13th. It could also be like that.
Time is a human construct.
Whatever.
Exactly.
All right, well, we'll see you tomorrow for the 13th day of February, whether it's a Friday or a Saturday. We don't know. We don't have the calendar in front of us. But we know we'll be drinking some Hume brewed beer